Blog Talk Radio.
I stand in the light of abundant gratitude for this beautiful heart that God gave me so many years ago. Grateful I was able to put all the shattered pieces of it back together. I can truly say that sustained happiness requires hard work to maintain. You got to be willing to continue growing mentally and spiritually. I am in constant study of how to manage my emotional intelligence because it is so important to function at the highest level to get to where you want to in life. Ladies and gentlemen around the globe, welcome to Season 7, Episode 9 of A Touch of Grace. I'm your host, Glenn D. Grace. Now, I got a chance to meet my next guest in person at the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas back in 2011 and was given an opportunity to see her hard at work as stage manager for that fiery stage play she called In-Laws from Hell. The trip was made possible by one of my dear friends, Kelly Adams. I'll never forget the generosity. I remember it being so goddamn cold there. There was snow on top of the mountain caps, but this lovely lady, Andrionna L. Williams, she really rolled out the carpet for me and my friend. She is both playwright and entrepreneur. She was once based out of Las Vegas, but now resides in ATL. She joins me today to talk about her incredible life, but first, a little bit more about her. Andrionna L. Williams is an author and playwright based in Atlanta, Georgia. She has written several books, including In-Laws from Hell, a comedy drama novel featuring Melissa Honore, a 35-year-old, thick, independent, educated, and determined businesswoman in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Melissa is a single mother of 2 sons, balancing single life, motherhood, and a demanding career. Now, that novel explored her experiences with dating, dealing with deadbeats, leeches, and long-distance relationships. I just have to tell you, when I saw that play and seeing Andrionna with that headset on her head just walking around, just so gracious, there were also some actresses on the stage who worked beside Tyler Perry and still you work for him. But I just have to tell you, this is the type of woman she is, y'all, you know. So without further ado, I am going to bring her on with me today and start today's show. Andrionna, this is Glenn. Welcome.
Welcome. Hello. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing fabulous. I uploaded that show that I did with the entire cast onto my YouTube channel because I'm expanding my digital footprint, and I had to have that one on that. And I remember that interview because I had to interview there was about 7 or 8 of you guys on that interview from what I can remember.
Yes, it was quite a bit of us.
Yeah.
And we had a ball, and we thank you still.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to find out, because we haven't talked in a minute. So you were in Vegas where you knew so many people, had so many points of contact, and then you decided to move to ATL. Why the migration?
Well, I don't know if you knew, but my mother, the only reason why I was in Vegas was because of my mother and my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And on February 3rd, 2015, my grandmother passed. Well, let me even back up to that. My grandmother had 2 children, my mom and my aunt, which you both met. Which you met both, all 3 at the play. And so my aunt passed January of 14. Then my grandmother passed February 3rd of 15. My mother then passed September 15th of 2015, 7 months later. So I lost all 3 within a year. And Vegas was just not where I wanted to be. I wanted something new. I wanted something innovative, and I wanted something that basically spelled out me. And at the time, I was in movies and stage plays, and Atlanta was where it was at that time. I grew up in L.A., so I didn't want to go back to L.A. From Baton Rouge, did not want to go back to Baton Rouge. Texas was too damn hot. So I said, you know what? Let me try Atlanta. And so here we are.
Yeah, it's so funny. I follow this guy's video vlog. His name's Walter Hampton, and he just has some of the worst things to say about Atlanta. How people call it like a black Mecca, and you know, you get there and there's a lot of shadiness going on. But I want to hear a different perspective. So, what are your thoughts about Atlanta?
Atlanta, I'm going to say, I'm going to have to agree with Walter on the shadiness and the scams and a lot of the jealousy. But what I will say about Atlanta is it does provide you opportunities. And what I loved about it is the greatness of blacks. When you come here, you know, when you're in L.A. and you see Lamborghinis and you see Maseratis and Bentleys, you know, if there's somebody black in them, then of course you think, okay, well, they're athlete, they're actor, you know, something. In Atlanta, anybody can drive it. So it just gives you a feeling of you can have whatever you want to have. You know, they make it seem easy. So Atlanta has been good to me. You know, I've opened up several businesses here. I've had beautiful homes here. I have seen a lot of growth in Atlanta. So I don't have too much negative to say about Atlanta except for the men, honey. I can't seem to find, baby, this is the worst. But that's the only negative thing that I can honestly say about Atlanta.
I know. I've seen some. I know Tyler's Perry Studios is down in that area, and then my cousin and her husband, her family, after they got out of college, they raised their kids there, who are adults now. I've never been to Atlanta before, but people just. I want people to know how dynamic you are, Andrionna. Like you said, you've opened a few businesses. And you are just a real money maker. Where did that knack come from that allowed you to not only just talk about making money and doing what you do, but actually making it come to fruition? Where did it come from?
You know, first and foremost, I'm going to say God. But I had a mother that was so amazing. When I say that God handpicked that woman just for me, I have to say that. That woman taught me everything that I know. And the only thing that she did not teach me was how to live without her. And that's what I struggle with on a daily basis. Outside of that, from real estate to music to entertainment to just business, clothing, I mean, that woman did not miss when it came to making sure I had every element of life down packed. I can remember even being a child and my mother teaching me how to pay bills, taxes, how my credit, like things that we should be teaching our kids right now. My mother taught to me.
Amen.
My mother taught to me, and she taught me. And I was able to pass it on to my kids and prayerfully to my grandchildren. But to answer your question, my mother was a diva. She was so anointed. She was so amazing. And God couldn't have picked a better woman to raise me. It's just her strength, her tenacity. She was just the epitome of greatness. So my mother is who made me who I am.
Well, I want you to say,
God carries me.
Well, say her name on the radio for everybody.
Oh, Lord, gladly, proudly. Her name is Dr. Ivian Sloan Kenshin, attorney at law. So she not only was a doctor, she was also phenomenal attorney, businesswoman, councilwoman. She was awesome. So Dr. Ivian Sloan Kenshin is her name.
Well, that explains a lot, my dear. That really does explain a lot because, like I said, your humility and your kindness, for all that you know, you have never come off as highfalutin. You've also been so kind and welcoming for all that you have been blessed with, you know. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. But you know something, I want to tap into this for just a minute. And also, too, I lost my mother, which you already know. I lost her in 2022, then my father, and then my aunt. So these three passings, and we continue to thrive and strive. But there was something else that you dealt with that threw me for a loop because I was so used to you posting on Facebook, and then one day, and I want everybody to listen to this, one day you just disappeared. I'm like, I wonder where she is. And then your son posted that you had been in a coma for like several months with this whole COVID thing that people thought was a conspiracy. And then you had to relearn how to walk. I saw your story here in the Bay Area on the news. What can you tell us about that whole thing?
It was devastating. It was, and let me tell you, I say devastating because of the toll that it took on my family and friends and my loved ones. Thank God I don't remember any of it. I remember going into the ambulance on Christmas Eve of 2020, and it was snowing here in Georgia, in Fayetteville, Georgia. And I remember getting into the ambulance. I remember crying. I remember asking for them to, what was going on, get me out, you know. I also then remember waking up out of the coma. But you have to remember that was latter part of March, early April.
Right.
GD, when I woke up, I was paralyzed. And, you know, I'm a mover and a shaker.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn, I could not move. Only thing I could move was my head.
Good Lord.
I had tubes everywhere, including on my head, monitoring my brain. I was just there. I was just laying in a hospital bed there. I had tubes in my stomach. I had tubes in my throat. It was scary. It was scary. And every day I did not know if I was going to make it. Mm-hmm. My family was constantly being told by the doctors, come say your last goodbyes. She's not going to make it through the night. You guys need to get up to the hospital right now. We think she might have an hour. And they said every time they would say this to my kids and to my family, and they would get up to that hospital, I came back with a vengeance. So it was something besides the Lord. I think it was my motherhood that kicked in and said, the devil, COVID, whoever you are, you're not strong enough to fight me. I am a fighter. And I knew that I had to be here for my kids. There were still things left to do. There was still love in me that I had to give. There were still things that I had to show others. So I knew that I had purpose still left here on earth. And I fought. And I fought. And I fought. And the days that I felt like giving up, I would just cry and just shake my head because that's all I could do. Literally, I would bang my head from side to side on the pillows. That's how the nurses knew I was in distress. But that was my way of fighting. I was fighting because I knew that, God, you can't take me. What are my kids going to do? I'm all they have. I'm all they have. So it was devastating, Glenn, to say the least. I mean,
oh, my God.
Baby, I don't even know how to describe it.
And like I said, I see, I'm really active on social media. I mean, like anything in life that can be used for corruption or whatever. Social media is too, but, I choose to use it what it's meant for and intended for, and that is to connect with beautiful people, amazing people, share our stories. Silence is a killer, people who clam up, don't share. I share quite a bit, as you, on social media, but we do it, I believe, because we want other people to feel that they're not alone. And so, like I said, I noticed that, I was like, after a month or two, I'm like, wait a minute, where's Andrionna at, right? And so when that was posted, and see, this is because I know your story, because I have a roommate, a brother named Willie. God bless his soul. He lost his life to COVID. I'm so angry, not as angry as I was, but that we got vaccinations when we were kids. And people were just fighting tooth and nails about getting this damn vaccine. And you're seeing thousands of bodies just pile up and everything. And then, like I said, I had already got a chance to talk to you about your story. And then I'm sitting here in the Bay Area. And then they said, oh, we're going to talk about this young lady based out of Andrionna L. I know her. Girl, well, I'm just going to say this, that I believe that your sweet mother and your aunt and the people you lost, they were definitely there. And most certainly, I believe in spirituality, because you are quite a bit a miracle. Now, do you have sisters and brothers too, Andrionna?
I don't. I was my mother's only child. Now, my father has children, but I always say, because I grew up as an only child, I dealt with my brothers a lot in Louisiana, but I am Ivian's only child, honey. So I am loving. You understand?
Well, you spoil your kids too. Now, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 sons.
3 boys looking after their mama.
And honey, I thought I was at a point where I say, you know what? I don't ever want them to leave. I want to get all this land. I want to build everybody's houses. Baby, I'm so ready for these Negroes to go. I don't know what to do.
You know what's funny is my sister's kid, my niece, the mother of Viviana, she packed up and moved. She's 23. So my sister called me sounded just as pitiful, and she goes, she moved out and she took the baby and she didn't tell me. I said, she probably did that because she didn't want you to stop her. I said, most parents are jumping for joy, kicking their heels up when their kids move out the house.
Yeah. I didn't think I was ever going to get to that point. But, honey, I'm like, whoo, when y'all leaving? LaJarvis is going to be a junior. I said, whoo, 2 more years. Okay, baby, let's count them down.
Okay, and what are your sons' names, Andrionna?
It's Travion, he's the oldest. And then I have DeJuan, he's the middle. And then Jarvis is the baby.
And I'm pretty sure that just like your mother taught you, you are teaching them, and it's so important that kids are taught, because I'm horrible with money management. I am. I mean, before the pandemic, I had it down packed, and then when the pandemic came, I was getting that extra money, and then I started door dashing everything and sending my relatives gifts and stuff like that, because when I was in addiction, I forgot that I was a giver, but I was able to give more, and that's my joy, is to be able to give. But somewhere along the line, when I came back, I didn't stop spending. So it's cool that you're teaching them how to manage money. How are they doing with it, with the lessons you're teaching them?
I would say they're doing okay. Now, my oldest, he's a bit different. He's a bit different. So, we're still working on him. I'm giving him till 30. He's 27. And I say, he said, Mommy, I hear you, Mommy. I hear you. I said, but Travion, you're not doing, baby. You're not doing what you claim you're hearing. But I hear you, Mommy. I said, oh, okay.
You planted the seed, and I think you planted it real deep in the earth where he's concerned. Yeah, soon to be 62 next month. I got to tell you, I cherish friendship. I cherish, people in our corners that kind of push us to be great. Now, you also, do you still have Curvy Girl, your clothing line?
We do. Curvy Girl is still in existence. We kind of put it on hold only because not only did I design my own clothes, I was also my own seamstress.
Wow.
And so
see what I mean?
COVID kind of jacked me up with it because it left me still kind of paralyzed in my left wrist.
Oh.
And then my right hand, it gets spasms a lot, kind of like carpal tunnel.
Okay.
So sewing and holding a needle, especially for long periods of time, is very difficult for me even now. So trying to find seamstress and hire seamstress has been quite challenging. But we're still moving.
And when you say it's challenging, I'm pretty sure that it has something to do with work ethic and also trust, right? Being able to trust somebody with your brand and your name.
Absolutely. That is the biggest part. That is the biggest part because people, they just don't have good intentions, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah,
and
very true.
I can't afford for my drawings and my designs to get into the wrong hands.
Most definitely.
People take people's work, writings and movies and things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I learned that early on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I learned that early on, and I was really naive when I came onto the scene back in 2010. I used to write up bios and everything, and some guy, took my stuff on his platform, and he had millions of followers, and he refused to give me credit for that. He took it down. I had to threaten him, so I definitely understand that. What do you think is your strongest sense as far as being that you are a businesswoman? What is it that you look for and observe in people that would say, hey, kick that motherfucker, excuse me, I almost cursed. Well, hell, it's my platform. Kick that motherfucker to the curb. Or, hey, maybe.
Well, that's a great question. I look at people's character and integrity. I see how they treat people. I also am one of those people that a lot of people mistake me and think that I am standoffish. I'm not. I'm observing you. So I may not talk right to you, but I will watch everything you do. And I'm watching you because I'm trying to see how people interact with you, how you interact with people. And then I'm also listening to what you say. I don't like people that talk a lot. If you talk a lot, you're too jazzy for me. It's something about you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the ability to just listen. But also too, when I interview people, I talk more about their philanthropy. What have you done in the community? What do you do to help others? Is your platform only for yourself? And then I'm shrewd. You've dealt with me over a day.
Oh, yes.
I am shrewd. So, and I have no filters. So my thing is, how are you going to benefit me? And a lot of people freeze up. Just how quiet it just got. That's how it gets when I ask people that question. How?
But you know what? It's funny. It's funny because hopefully, they're thinking and going to articulate something that's truthful, or they may be just trying to think about how they probably say, oh, God, this girl is, let me see what I could do to maneuver around her. Have you ever gotten involved in business relationships that you thought were right on the money, and then a quarter of the way in, you said, wait just the hell a minute?
No, not really, babe, because let me tell you, I don't go into business with everybody. I only go into business with my kids. Now, I did step out a couple of times, and I had to dial it back. You're right. Because I stepped out with Monique. Monique was supposed to be the spokesperson of Kirby Girl. And we got some months in, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. I called her, and Sydney was like, we're not doing it. And I don't give a damn who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't mean nothing to me. It might mean something to somebody else, you Monique. But this is something I built. This is a house Andrionna built. So I have who I want in this mug. Understand me? So, I've done quite a bit with different celebrities and different things like that. And you're right. If it doesn't feel right, I don't do it. I am so quick to cut ties. It will make your head swim. I will do it with people, family, friends. Honey, when I cut, and I don't go back.
Yeah, it's something that I wish I learned early in life. I do it really good now. You know, that's why I'm pretty successful as far as the recovery, and I'm careful about who I allow in. And I like how you say, you know, what do you do for other people? Which is why I love A Touch of Grace, because I stand in awe of individuals like you and people that I've had on this show, some mainstream artists, R&B royalty, that have just been so kind, you know. And for me, people were asking for this show to come back. I had kind of lost my passion for it because the guy that was helping me, bless his heart, you know, with World Media, it kind of started not being my show, you know. And I said, well, if I redo this again, I'm going to have to, you know, do it on my own terms because I want to work at my own pace. Because sometimes I don't feel like talking. Because let's face it, being a media personality and being out there in the world, that shit get tiring. You know, sometimes you just want to step back. So what are you working on now that we can look forward to?
Well, we just opened up a cosmetology and barbering school in Douglasville, Georgia, and a natural hair salon. So we have the bookstore still, and then we are now enrolling for Sheer Exposure Barber and Beauty Academy. And, oh, my gosh, Glenn, this is so exciting to me. You've never been to Atlanta? You're going to have to come.
When I come, I'm definitely going to meet up with you.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. So, yes, you got a lot. We have a lot that we're doing. You know, my son is still in film. He, you know, has his production company. So we do quite a bit. But that is my new venture right now.
I just adore you. You are, because you said, Andrionna, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'2.5", and don't forget the half.
Wait a minute. I am, because when I saw you, you had that headset on, and of course things were going up on stage, and you was walking. I said, look at this little dynamo. You was just about the cutest thing. I was like, and then just so gracious and kind, you know, and I am so glad. First of all, I am grateful to the higher power that he saw fit for our paths to cross, but also that he carried you through that along with the love of your family and people that really care about you and love you, you know.
Amen. So, thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, so is there anything in specific that you want to leave the listeners with, or something special that you want to get out there to them?
Yes, I do. I want to tell you that life is lifing for everybody, and it's okay, because where you think that you're lacking, God has you. You know, I see a lot of posts about life is lifing, but God is guiding, and I'm a firm believer in that. Just because things are moving slow and they're not going at the pace that you want them, everything that is stopped or delayed is never denied. I want people to know that they have to keep on going. Keep on going. Better is waiting. And just because you have a few bumps in the road doesn't mean that it's time for you to give up. It means for you to push harder. It means you need to apply more pressure. So that's what I want to leave with everybody, all the listeners. Keep going. Because if you quit, you'll never know how far you could have went. Keep going. Push.
And I'll tack on to that because I can't believe that next month I'll be 62. But for the people out there that think that they're too old, you know, to chase a dream, let me be an example with my old ass. You know, I like Adriana said, sometimes things slow to a lull, but you just keep on going. I mean, look at this incredible woman that I'm talking to right now. She was in a damn coma. Came out of it and is still hitting it, you know. So what I say to you, my sweet, I can't wait to see you, and I'm thinking that'll probably be sooner than later in the next year or so, maybe even sooner than that, because you just never know what God has in store for you. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on the show, and you already know, girl, if you have somebody you want me to interview, if you want to come back yourself to this show, you know you've got the door open.
And I appreciate that, baby, and you know I will definitely send people. You are just my favorite, and I thank you. I thank you for being you. Thank you for being the friend. Thank you for the almost 2 decades. I thank you. I cherish friendships as well, and I just absolutely love you. I just love you.
You better stop. I'm already teary-eyed. Well, anyway, God bless you, my sweet, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up now so you can go ahead and get on your way because you're forever busy. But I adore you. God bless you and your family. And if I could ever be an ear, you know my number already, girlfriend.
Yes, I do, and I have a new one, but I'll send you mine. But yes.
Okay.
And it's
all
the
right,
same
darling.
thing. You call me.
All right, you be safe out there. Love you and Godspeed, all right?
I love you, and be blessed.
All right, you too, my sweet.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Andrionna L. Williams, playwright and entrepreneur. Now, if you were listening to the show, the woman was in a coma. She was in a coma, okay, because she was already moving and grooving, you know, by the grace her mother just instilled in her, just such a strong work ethic, in a coma, and comes out, because I was in shock. I sat up there, I'm like, oh, dang, she never missed a beat, you know? And so I'm going to leave you on this note. If you get anything out of what I'm trying to shed out here to the world and why I use this platform and interview people that inspire me, and she's one of them, and the guest this season and past season inspire me as well. I'm going to leave you on this note. Whether blood-related or not, there are people who dwell on this earth who go around being beautiful souls without restraint because beauty and joy run fluent within them. Those years that were overshadowed by overbearing loudmouth spirits laid the groundwork for the peaceful life I now live. They revealed the worst way to live so I could identify the blessings that occur when I allow myself to live my best life. And Andrionna L. Williams, Heston Francis, Darian Dean, Chris Rizek, Brooklyn Bourne, Anthony Pathfinder, Savannah Jackson. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but you know, these people inspire me, as well as the friends that I have that have been with me through the long haul and some of the craziest days of my life. But I have to tell you this. Make sure that you cherish the people in your life. Don't wait for tomorrow to say I love you. Love them like there's no tomorrow. That's what I said standing in front of my mother's coffin. Love them like there's no tomorrow, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. All right? So for all of you guys listening, thank you for listening. The next show I will go ahead and post on my social media once it is confirmed. But in the meantime, love yourself. Take care of yourself. Self-care is not a crime, my friends. All right? All right, God bless you and those you love. You take care. Ciao.